Welcome to this week's United Way Spotlight. This week we're going to spend some time listening to our partners at Helena Food Share. Today we have Bruce Day with us, and he is going to enlighten us on all the good things happening over at Helena Food Share. Okay. All right, thanks for being with us, Bruce.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Why don't I just let you get started? Tell us about, I don't know, the nutrition resource section on your website. What's that about?
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, we have, you can read about our nutrition programs at our website, which is helenafoodshare.org. Okay. But, you know, we've really spent a lot of time in the last several years, and we've had partners helping us with this, such as St. Peter's Health, to build a program, you know, where we're really focusing on the nutritional value of food that people are able to get at Helena Food Share. And so that's found its way into a lot of things that we're doing. We have, you know, doubled our garden size. We have actually a high tunnel garden, so we can get started earlier in the growing season. So we have food that's coming in from our own gardens there at Helena Food Share that we're making available to people. We also get a great response from gardeners and farmers in the community. And so, you know, we encourage people to grow a row for Helena Food Share because, you know, produce, good, healthy, fresh produce is something that not a lot of people can afford all of the time, or perhaps any of the time. And so we want to make sure that, you know, folks have the chance to get that nutritional component that's really important to building healthy lives for themselves and healthy lives for our community. Absolutely.
Tell us a little more about, let's say I grow a row for Helena Food Share. How do I get that food to you? How does that work? And by the way, good thinking on that tunnel idea. We have such a short growing season.
Exactly.
That extends your opportunity, so that's super. But yeah, how do we contribute to grow a row?
Sure. So when you you know, you can let us know if you're planning to do that, but you don't have to. But if you put aside room in your garden, or if you belong to a community garden and take a spot there, you can also put aside some room for Helena Food Share. When you're harvesting and you have your produce and you're ready to bring it down, just bring it to Helena Food Share. We're open, you know, you could bring it any day of the week, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 to 3:30, you know. So just drop it off, we'll weigh it for you and give you a receipt for it if you want, and it really helps.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Fresh produce is always a great thing,
great.
You know.
Yeah.
Like a good BLT in the summertime or whatever. I mean, that's good stuff.
Right,
well, great.
Exactly.
Well, great.
You get all of it, you know.
Yeah, get it all together. You get the bread, you get it all. That's great, Bruce. Tell us about Stamp Out Hunger. What's that about?
Sure.
Coming up.
Well, you know, we've had this long partnership. I mean, the National Letter Carriers Association, and so you know, and they've had Stamp Out Hunger in May for years. Mm-hmm. Of late, through, you know, COVID, they stopped doing the food collection, but now they drop off for Helena Food Share an envelope in everybody's mailbox.
Oh, okay.
And it gives people, and then they ask people to contribute to the Stamp Out Hunger Fund Drive now. So it used to be a food drive, it's a fund drive this year. Okay. That'll be dropping soon, and people can watch their mailboxes for it, and when it's out, if you feel like helping Helena Food Share and making sure that, you know, there's support for people in your community who need food, you can drop a check in the mail, or you can go online and donate.
And those will be delivered not just in Helena, pretty much all over the region, is that right?
All over the region, yes, but the post offices that are local to, you know, Helena, East Helena, Clancy area, those will be all directed toward the Helena Food Share. And, you know, we just really appreciate the letter carriers and the fact that they've helped us with this for years. They have contributed so much to what Helena Food Share does and is able to do.
That's great. That's great. Looking forward to that. That is the second week in May, is that right?
Yes,
when those will go out.
Yes.
Super. And Understand we have a special evening planned later in May. Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, we're doing actually first in-person event that we've done for a while, and we're continuing a tradition that Friendship Center had actually done in the past with the Empty Bowls event, and they're no longer doing it. They asked us if we would like to do it, and so we have an event called Filling Empty Bowls. People are invited to come, purchase tickets. We're hoping to have 120 people come to that event. There'll be soups from different chefs in Helena. Bread, some drinks, and some speakers for that evening event. So it's May 24th, and we'll start at 4:30 and go till about 6:30.
And where's that event going to be held?
It's going to be held at Helena Food Share. So on our property, we'll have tables, and it'll be outside. So hopefully we'll.
So of course the weather will be lovely.
The weather's going to be beautiful. You can trust me on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I am glad.
If people want to know more about that, again, our website, helenafoodshare.org, will have info about that event.
Well, I am glad to hear you've picked up the Bowls project, because that came up in a conversation I was having, and the conversation around the table was, we hope somebody picks that up, because if somebody doesn't, United Way might pick it up. But I'm glad to hear you're gonna. I think that's pretty fitting. Food share, filling bowls.
Exactly.
Right up your alley. Well, good.
And the unique thing about it, of course, is the bowls are made by local artisans.
That's right. That's right.
And so that's something you get to take with you.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, that's exciting. Yeah. Anything else you want to tell us about going on at Helena Food Share? And I can't help but touch on the fact that we talked about this before, but United Way of Lewis and Clark area helped get Helena Food Share off the ground many years ago.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. It's we were founded really by United Way and churches, local churches that came together to figure out how can we centralize the distribution of food to people in our community who need help with it? So, and I guess along those lines, what I would just say is that, we really want the community to know, people in this community, that if you need help putting food on your table at any time, if you don't make it till the end of the month, if you have trouble feeding your family all of the time, Helena Food Share has food for people, and it's good, nutritious food. It's available, and we really want people we try to make it as easy for people to come down and get the food that they need to, fill their tables for whatever period of time they might be needing that help. So people know that.
That's good to know, Bruce. And I will just say to folks that one of the other great things that you all do well is it's kind of a no judgment zone. You don't ask a million questions. Yeah. You're not taking names and numbers. You obviously want to help the community. I think, and I've said this before, that people have to work pretty hard to go hungry in Helena, Montana, because of the work you all do.
Sure.
So I would just echo what you said. If someone needs some extra food, they're not quite making ends meet, please come down and find you. And say your address again and maybe a phone number so they know how to find you.
Our main pantry is at 1616 Lewis Street. And, you can Google map it or whatever. That's probably the best way to find it. But you can also call us, 443-3663 is our number, or go to our website and find out more information. But thank you. I mean, we do try to make it easy, judgment-free. There's no qualification, really. You don't have to have an income level. There's, that fits. If you need food, you'll get help with that food at Helena Food Share.
And I know that we work with a lot of organizations around the community that are helping our unsheltered population.
Yes.
Does a case manager need to bring somebody in, or can we just send somebody by if they need that kind of assistance?
Sure, you could. They could certainly just send someone on down to Helena Food Share. You don't necessarily have to come in with them, but if they want that kind of accompaniment, certainly come on in. But yeah, there are a lot of organizations that, you know, are working with folks in a variety of situations, you know, lacking shelter or other needs, and do send people to Helena Food Share as part of, you know, helping them with whatever needs they might have. So yeah.
Great, great. Well, Bruce, yeah, go ahead. Is there anything else you want to talk about today?
Well, you know, just to mention that part of that we've really been putting out a lot more emergency food packs lately, which I think we're sharing with United Way and other organizations. And so those are also available to the community and organizations in the community for when people find themselves in urgent need of calories. You know, those packets really help.
Those are great. Can I ask this question? How has, I feel like we're on the waning side of COVID, but how do you feel like your organization has kind of come through? Are you needing more funds, more resources? Have you made more contacts during this process? How have you all fared during COVID?
Sure. Well, let's hope that we are on the waning side. You know, it might be a bumpy road for a while, but you know, it's been, you know, we've flipped our organization a couple of times in terms of the way we're distributing food to people. We're pretty much back to people can come in and do choice shopping again now. We also had a struggle with volunteers during COVID, and you know, we had almost 200 volunteers in the last year, providing almost 12,000 hours of service to us. So volunteers are really important. That's one way people can help. We have a continuing need for volunteers, so certainly that. And always with food, we're now taking more food, you know, not just the produce, but if people want to do little food drives or collect food when they go to the grocery store and bring it down, that's always helpful. We're taking those food donations again. And financially, yes, the community's been so generous to Helena Food Share through COVID, and we appreciate that. It helped us keep going. We didn't have to close or stop our operation. But we obviously will continue to need financial assistance to do what we do.
For folks to volunteer, do they just call you at Helena Food Share? Is that the best way?
Yeah, we usually ask people to call, and then we have a volunteer application that we'll ask people to fill out so we can kind of get to know your availability and who you are, and then we'll follow up with you in terms of scheduling and things like that. Great.
Well, I have to tell you, I am already looking ahead. Last year was my first year doing this, but I got to volunteer at the Symphony Under the Stars in the summer. Yeah. And man, I was blown away by the trucks that were pulling away from that event. That was pretty cool. And I know it's a ways away, and the reason it's sticking in my head this year is I'm kind of an Elton John and Billy Joel fan, and I understand that's the music they're playing this year. So that's kind of exciting. So I'll probably be out there again, walking around with the bucket, collecting some funds, but
it's not too far away.
It's a big event for you all.
And I mean, thanks to the Helena Symphony and Carroll College, and all of their sponsors, you know, and to the people who come to Symphony Under the Stars and bringing all that food, 20,000 pounds last year. So it is the biggest food drive that we have in Helena to help out people and help.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So thanks for bringing that up.
Sure. Well.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well,
and
Bruce.
Thanks for the support of United Way.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Well, listen, Bruce, thank you for joining us today. Hope you've enjoyed this week's installment of our United Way Spotlight.